Hi Magi's gang, my name is Magielala Magi for short. If you are new here, you are welcome to my channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you here with me again. I hope everyone is having a good week so far and you are not letting anyone or anything dim your light. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you important updates on the Canada Post-Graduation Work Permit, so definitely watch till the end to get the full gist. To work in Canada after you graduate, you need a work permit. Graduates of certain designated learning institutions are eligible for a post-graduation work permit, also known as Pgwp. If you are not eligible for a Pgwp, you may still be able to work in Canada after you graduate. The work experience you gain while working may help you qualify for permanent residence. As of the 21st of June 2024, you can no longer apply for a Pgwp at a port of entry when entering Canada. Port of entry includes airport, land, or marine border. The fee to apply for a post-graduation work permit is currently $255 Canadian. The restoration of student status and Pgwp is currently at a fee of $634 Canadian. However, it will be increasing on the 1st of December 2024. You may be eligible for a post-graduation work permit if you graduated from a designated learning institution, also known as DLI, and you want to stay in Canada temporarily to work. Graduation from a designated learning institution does not automatically make you eligible for a post-graduation work permit. For studies done while you are outside of Canada, all of the time you spend studying online as a Pgwp eligible DLI from outside Canada between March 2020 and August 31st, 2022 count towards the length of a Pgwp. The policy, however, changed as of the 1st of September 2022. The following times will not count towards the length of a Pgwp. Time spent studying outside of Canada after the 31st of December 2023, time spent studying before you applied for a study permit. For studies that are done while in Canada until the 31st of August 2024, you must complete at least 50% of your program online or in class in Canada. Starting the 1st of September 2024, however, you must complete at least 50% of your program in class in Canada. Starting 15th of February 2024, students who graduate from master's degree programs of less than 2 years may be eligible for a 3-year post-graduation work permit. You can apply for a 3-year post-graduation work permit even if the length of your master's degree was less than 2 years, as long as you meet all other eligibility criteria. However, it is important to note that this is not applicable to certificate or diploma programs. So for all other programs, if your program was less than 8 months, you are not eligible for a post-graduation work permit. If your program was at least 8 months but less than 2 years, the government may give you a post-graduation work permit that's valid for up to the same length as your study program. For example, if you completed a 9-month program, the government may decide to give you a work permit for up to 9 months. So if your program was 2 years or more, the government may give you a post-graduation work permit that's valid for 3 years. If you, however, completed more than one program, you may be eligible to get a post-graduation work permit that combines the length of each program. Each of the programs you completed must be eligible for the post-graduation work permit and at least 8 months in length. You cannot get a post-graduation work permit if you already had one after completing an earlier program of study. So that's important to note. The length of your post-graduation work permit depends on the level and duration of your study program, as well as the expiry date of your passport, whichever comes first. To be eligible for a post-graduation work permit, you must meet all eligibility requirements. You meet the general eligibility requirements to apply for a Pgwp if you completed a study program at a designated learning institution, you maintained full-time status as a student in Canada during each semester of your study program. There are some exceptions to this requirement, including studying part-time during your final semester, taking an approved leave from your studies, having to stop studying or change to part-time studies between March 2020 and the fall semester in 2020 for reasons related to COVID-19. Continuing on the general eligibility requirements, you will meet the general eligibility requirements to apply for a post-graduation work permit if you apply for a post-graduation work permit within 180 days after you graduate. Your study permit was valid at some point during the 180 days after you graduated, and none of the exceptions to the Pgwp eligibility requirements apply to you. So the exceptions to the eligibility requirements are as follows. You are not eligible for a post-graduation work permit if you already have a post-graduation work permit, you studied English or French as a second language, took general interest or self-improvement courses, received funding or a scholarship from GAC that requires you to return to your home country after graduation, completed over 50% of your study program through distance learning, completed a study program at a non-Canadian institution located in Canada, completed a course or program of study at a DLI that is not Pgwp eligible. You may be eligible to apply for a Pgwp if you are in one of the special case groups: accelerated programs, distance learning, curriculum licensing agreements, taking leave from your studies, transfers between schools, Canadian study programs with an overseas component, graduates of certain Quebec schools. You must prove your English or French language skills with a minimum level of Canadian language benchmark 7 in English or NCLC 7 in French in all 4 language areas. If you are attending a designated learning institution in Quebec, your program must be 900 hours or longer. If you are attending a designated learning institution in Canada but outside of Quebec, your program must be 8 months or longer. There are no field of study requirements for university graduates with a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or doctoral degree. You must prove your English or French language skills with a minimum level of Canadian language benchmark 7 in English or NCLC 7 in French in all 4 language areas. If you are attending a DLI in Quebec, your program must be 900 hours or longer. If you are attending a DLI in Canada but outside of Quebec, your program must be 8 months or longer. If you submitted your study permit application before 1st of November 2024, there are no field of study requirements. However, if you submitted your study permit application on or after November 1st, 2024, you must have graduated in an eligible field of study. You must prove your English or French language skills with a minimum level of Canadian language benchmarks 5 in English or NCLC 5 in French in all 4 language areas. If you are attending a designated learning institution in Quebec, your program must be 900 hours or longer. If you are attending a DLI, which is still a designated learning institution, in Canada but outside of Quebec, your program must be 8 months or longer. If you submitted your study permit application before 1st of November 2024, there are no field of study requirements. However, if you submitted your study permit application on or after 1st of November 2024, you must have graduated in an eligible field of study. graduated from a flight school, you must also meet one of the following requirements. You completed a flight training course at a DLI training center and now have a Canadian commercial pilot's license, or you have or are in the process of getting an instructor's rating and a job offer as a flight instructor from a DLI flight training center. There are no language requirements for graduates from a Pgwp eligible flight school. Your program must be either 8 months or longer or 900 hours or longer. There are no field of study requirements for flight school graduates. There are different eligibility requirements depending on if you are a graduate applying for a Pgwp from within or outside of Canada. For in-Canada graduates, you are eligible to apply if you meet all other eligibility requirements and are a graduate living in Canada. You also do not have to let your status expire while waiting for your marks. If your study permit will expire before you get your marks, you have two options. You can either apply for a visitor record to stay in Canada longer, or you would have to leave Canada and apply for a post-graduation work permit. If you are an outside Canada graduate, to apply for a post-graduation work permit as a graduate outside of Canada, you must meet all other eligibility requirements and the following requirements. You have a valid study permit, you were enrolled in a program that was in progress in March 2020, or you started a program between spring 2020 and summer 2022, and you have a study permit, you've been approved for a study permit, or you applied for a study permit before starting your study program. Only the time you spend studying outside Canada after the government receives your study permit application counts towards the length of your Pgwp. If you completed your study program in Canada, you may also leave and then apply for your Pgwp from outside of Canada. Okay fam, that's all for this video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did find it helpful, please do well to give the video a thumbs up. Giving the video a thumbs up also lets the algorithm know that the video helped you and would in that way make the algorithm push the video out there to help others as well. And if you know anyone personally that will find this information beneficial, do well to share the video with them as well. I will see you all in my next video, but till then, as always, stay blessed and remember, God loves you. Bye.